was Minister and then also Deputy Minister, the Honorable Edwin Nii Lante Van Der Poel. He's joined us on the line. Honorable, you are welcome to Eyewitness News.
Well, thank you very much, Moro.
The president says that he removed your boss from the presidency and that whatever he does will not impress former President John Mahama. But he is assuring Ghanaians that the best person that should lead after him should be Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia and not the person that he came to replace. You are not happy with this statement?
Thank you very much, and let me say good evening to all your listeners. You know, for some time now, because of the way this NPP regime has managed the country, I have become very sad and apologetic as a politician. But today it's even worse. Because I don't know how a politician in this country, like Nana Addo, take Ghanaians for. You know, I don't know how we think about Ghanaians. Do we think about them as just some zombies, people who cannot think for themselves, that people who cannot decipher their own situations and make judgments? Do we always have to look down on people and the citizens because they vote for us, because we think we can lie to them and say all the things, all the lies, and still get them to vote for us? Is that what he's talking about? That because they did that in 2016? Look, if I were Nana Addo, the best thing I would do as a person is to apologize to the millions of Ghanaians who voted for me and who I have hugely disappointed. Nana Addo will go into history as the worst president ever in the Fourth Republic of this country. Ever. Worst president ever. Because, let me say this, what legacy is he talking about? He's the most corrupt president in our history. He is the one who has collapsed our economy. Ghana's economy today is worse than any time in our history. Is that a legacy he's talking about? Of course. John Mahama will come and correct all the shady, shoddy, and let me say, outrageous things that they've done, and what has rendered this country almost in the abyss. Today, Ghana's economy is a junk. And you think that is a legacy you have to be proud of? And somebody who is coming to correct it, you think the person should not come to correct. Look, the only reason why Nana Addo is saying this is not because of his useless legacy of corruption, nepotism, squander, squalor, thievery, wanton grabbing of assets, state capture, and the worst part of it is arrogance and disrespect to our traditional authorities and the ordinary Ghanaian. They are wanton dissipation of our environment through their unbridled interest in galamsey, the distraction of our state institutions, destroying, politicizing the public service, politicizing the civil service, politicizing the security services, politicizing the judiciary, destroying what makes Ghana the envy of other democracies. That is the legacy he wants his co-useless mate to come and defend. No. Ghanaians will want somebody to come, prosecute his people who are corrupt, the thievery, the land grabbing, the dissipation of our environment, destroying our environment for galamsey. Those are the things Ghanaians are looking for. The youth of this country are looking for somebody who will come and change that legacy he has left of joblessness, youth unemployment, hopelessness, destruction of our educational system. That today, Ghanaians do not know when the child is going to school and when the child is coming home. We do not even know whether our children are in basic school or in secondary school because we are running shift in the second cycle institution.
But he brought you free SHS. That's a legacy you would come and destroy if you come.
Free SHS of shift. The shift system, free SHS. Is that what you are talking about?
Better educated and the shift system than no education, no?
The free SHS that the Education Watch, Edu Watch, is saying parents are bearing close to 63% of the cost of education. The government is only taking care of 34%, only 34%. Is that the free SHS talking about? Is that education, the legacy you want to live at? I want my children to go to a school where I know that they go to school tomorrow, they will come back in 3 months' time, that I can budget. But not the same when my child goes to school, there's only 2 weeks, he's back home, and I don't know when he will come and stay home for another 1 year before going back to school. Is that the legacy he's talking about? As for this legacy, Ghanaians are ashamed of it. And Ghanaians will not want this legacy to remain. Ghanaians will vote for a change so that somebody will come, erase this horrifying and very disgraceful legacy from our history.
Let me go to the other line because your colleague has called in. He's not happy with some of the things you're saying. So I indulge you kindly to stay on the line and listen. The Honorable Andrew Egyapa Mercer is MP for Sekondi, Minister Designate for Tourism.
You expect him to be happy? When he's enjoying Nana Addo.
He's not enjoying. He's not enjoying. You have refused to approve him as a minister, so he's not enjoying. He has left his old ministry. He's hanging in the middle. He's like a dead man who's not been given coins to cross the river. You've not been fair to him. Your own brother.
That's part of the legacy. That's part of the legacy.
Let me introduce him. Honorable Egyapa Mercer, you're welcome to Eyewitness News. What's your issue
for indulging? I had no desire of necessarily responding to all these matters that our friends spew on radio. But it's important to set the record straight sometimes because it's offensive to hear the kind of comments that come from our friends, the NDC sometimes. I will ignore a comment about enjoying because I'm not so sure whether when he was Deputy Minister in the government of Professor Adamils and Mr. Mahama, he was there because he was enjoying, and that he is seeking for Ghanaians to vote for his preferred candidate, so he comes and enjoys. Okay, that kind of language in our politicking, I always advise them to move away from it because it doesn't help the political discourse in any way. Yes, I'm working as a Deputy Minister and a Minister Designate for Tourism, Arts and Culture, and there is an expectation that Ghana would pay my remuneration for the services that I'm rendering to the country. If that is enjoyment, I don't know what really my good friend Nii Lante is seeking to demonstrate. But to the substantive point about what His Excellency the President spoke to, that he is responding and making it look as if to say there's nothing good that this government has done. You referenced free senior high school policy, which is not the only policy that this government has introduced. One district, one factory that is intended to industrialize our country. Yes, of course, it's not an event. So I do not expect that it would have achieved 100% industrialization of the entire country by 2024 December when he's leaving office. The process that has started. It is the expectation that as Parliament provides them with the support by way of tax exemptions and all that, that their side is refusing to approve. Many more private sector people will respond and set up more factories to accommodate the youth who are leaving schools. Okay. Now, it's not surprising because they believe that, consistent with the Mr. Mahama narrative, that we all have short memories. All of a sudden, we've forgotten the maladministration that he's put us through over the 4-year period that he served as president. We slept in darkness for 4 years. He says Akufo-Addo is corrupt. Mr. Mahama is the one who submitted his brother's name to a global conglomerate to be used as a conduit for the payment of bribes in the Airbus transaction. Has any president of this country ever gone through any such transaction before? Mr. Mahama is the one who, on the 29th of December, 8 days before he left office, signed off our bauxite deposits in 3 leases to his brother. He's talking of what? He's talking of what? We know their track record. Okay? So let it not be said that what President Akufo-Addo said he was wrong. He was right. Ghanaians have tried and tested Mr. Mahama. They know what he delivered as a president. And they know that but for the global pandemic, our economy would not have deteriorated to these levels. Indeed, and in fact, His Excellency the President told us in June, July of 2020 that, look, because of this pandemic that we all don't know where it's going to lead us as a country, but as a world, I am prepared to sacrifice economic indicators to protect Ghanaian lives and livelihoods. It would come at the expense of the economy, but that we know how to fix. Obviously, it is not the expectation that fixing the economy will take one budget cycle. It's a process which has led to huge challenges for us as a country. But thankfully, we feel like at the end of the tunnel. So Ghanaians, the discerning people of this country, know the truth and the fact about who, when you had the opportunity without any pandemic, without any global crisis, kept us in darkness for 4 years and took us to IMF. Yes, we've gone under Akufo-Addo government, but we all know the reason why we went there. So let Mr. Nii Lante Van Der Toy and his like, okay, take it easy, because we'll deal with the issues. But we will not allow them to hoodwink Ghanaians like they did in 2008 with lies, to the point where when Ghanaians believed them and voted for them to come into power, they turn around to tell us that it was a mere political talk. It's not going to happen this time around.
Okay. I've seen lots of people commenting on social media in response to this statement by the president that Ghanaians should not vote for John Mahama because he'll come and ruin his legacy. And they keep asking the question, what legacy? Can you list some of the key things for those who may be wondering what legacy there is for Akufo-Addo to leave behind? So John Mahama will tell you he left behind infrastructure projects. He will tell you he left Dubai in circle. 1 second, I'm going to let you say that. So he will tell you he left Dubai in circle. He left the Bank Hospital. He left the East Hospital. He left the number of infrastructure that they keep repeating. What are the things that you would mention?
Many of the health infrastructure projects were either started by President Kufuor, that President Mills could not complete, that Mr. Mahama came to complete. Many of the projects that Mr. Mahama completed were projects that were started by President Mills that they came to complete. Many of the road projects that Nana Addo has initiated, it's all over the place. You know it, I know it. Indeed and in fact, members of parliament who complain that Akufo-Addo has contracted loans with nothing to show for. Sometimes I wonder whether they read the documents that they themselves approve. Because every single debt that Akufo-Addo has contracted is meant for a specific project. The fact that some of them have not been completed doesn't mean that the monies have been wasted. Yeah, look, I can't even begin to count them. Why? Akufo-Addo is not doing road projects in this country. You don't see it. He's not building hospitals. The nephrology and urology center is going to be commissioned in a few days. Efian Kwanta Government Hospital is being redeveloped. Eastern Regional Hospital is being redeveloped. The maternity block in Konfana Teaching Hospital is not being done. Our schools not being built on a day-by-day basis. Our roads not being constructed. Our hospitals not being built. They're interchanged across the country. You don't know it. And so let's not be fooled by the talk that Akufo-Addo has no legacy.
Okay.
Plus the social intervention programs that he's initiated. You don't have a record of them. Umaru, you are not aware.
Oh, if you ask me to answer,
apologists on social media ask questions for you to relay them to me.
Very well.
Because we all live in this country. We all know that in the 111 projects that are ongoing, they are all Akufo-Addo legacy. In fact, the free senior high school policy, huge, one district, one factory. Come on. Is there even a comparison between us and Mr. Mahama? They talk of UGMC. Check when Professor Mills capped for the commencement of the work on UGMC. So Mr. Mills, when he became president, he didn't do anything. He left no legacy for the good people of this country, who made him president for 4 years. Everything is Mr. Mahama.
Is
that what you are telling us?
Very well. Please hold.
That the founding president never left any legacy for Ghana?
Please hold the line.
You talk of corruption?
Honorable Nii Lante Van Der Poel, he has listed projects that are the legacies of Akufo-Addo that they are leaving behind, which legacies they do not want to ruin. They don't want you to come and ruin. Just in a minute or so, if you could just respond so we can end this conversation.
Which legacy is he talking about? Which legacy? Let me tell him. He just led the Minister of Energy. The gas infrastructure, which today is helping us have a dependable energy. The gas infrastructure, who built it? Who built that gas infrastructure? That he's been privileged to be a deputy minister for. You won't respond. Keep quiet. Keep quiet and let me talk. When you were talking, I was quiet. Keep quiet and let me talk.
Honorable Nii Lante, you are the only one being heard. You are the only one being heard.
My junior.
No, you are the only one being heard. So kindly ignore everything that.
Let me tell him this. Let me tell him this. We can point to the legacies left, and that is testament to the whole country. Everybody will testify to it. What have they done? He's talking about one district, one factory. He should name one district, one factory that they themselves started and finished. I'm in Parliament, and I know the tax exemptions that have been given to all these one district, one factory companies that have existed in history. Some of them 10 years, 20 years, 30 years ago. Is this that he's talking about? Is this their legacy? Professor Mills and John Mahama's time, we gave incentive to industry. The pharmaceutical industry, the poultry industry, and so many other areas. We didn't make noise about it. And we didn't say we are doing one district, one factory with those things. What did you talk about? Agenda 111. When? Where? Umaru, I've just come from La. Go and see. After the skirmishes there, go and see what is happening there. Nothing. Agenda 111. Why are they doing Agenda 111? Those things that are in the bush somewhere, they go and clear bush, pay money to people. And look, all those corrupt acts will be revealed. They are legacy of corruption. I can't say upon who are in the holy thing. Ghanaians will really feel and see what it is like to have lived under the most corrupt regime ever in this country. He's talking about Mahama. Look, they've been in office for 7 years. If Mahama was involved in anything like that, why have they not prosecuted him? They should have been powerful enough to prosecute him if they have evidence against him.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Let me conclude. That's Honorable Nii Lante Van Der Poel, MP for Ododo Diodio. Honorable Egyapa Mercer, one of the key things you mentioned there is Agenda 111. You promised to deliver those hospitals within 1 year. COVID has long gone. We are almost in the third or fourth year. We don't have the projects. It will be fair to say that you have failed already, haven't you?
Yes, you have commitment, you have intention. Circumstances may enable you execute all of them within a certain time frame that you intend to execute, or it may delay. But the fact still remains that these projects are ongoing. True or false?
I don't know. I haven't done a check.
Oh, so you don't know the performance tracker and the list of Agenda 111 locations across the country. In fact, my own Ifeanyi Kwanta Regional Hospital is being redeveloped.
Is it part of Agenda 111?
Of course. Agenda 111 is district hospitals plus regions that do not have regional hospitals. So the hospital
you mentioned now, the one in your constituency or region, is Agenda 1. What's the percentage of completion?
It's about 70% complete.
Which means it will be finished before December 7.
It's likely to be finished, or it may go into next year.
But then that becomes a problem, because when the promise was made, you see, we judge your delivery against your.
I don't have a problem. Look, thankfully, you guys operate in a space. Okay. Nii Lante, look, can you allow me to speak? When I attempted to come in,
actually, I have signed him. I've signed Nii Lante off. So please ignore him and then conclude. Because we have to go.
See,
yes, go ahead.
You operate in a space where Imani, that's an assessment of manifesto commitments called a manifesto. And it has been established that over the past political cycles, no political party in this country has been able to achieve all their manifesto commitments 100%. True or false? So it's neither here nor there whether it's been complete. I'm saying that it is a matter of fact that Nana Addo Father's government is building hospitals across districts in Ghana that do not have hospitals.
Very well.
At various stages of completion.
Very well. Thank you.
Now, second issue that he raises, please, it's important that I mention gas infrastructure that they said. It was during President Kufuor's era when we discovered oil in commercial quantities that they described as a jungle. You remember that President Kufuor negotiated with the Jubilee partners for a 200 billion gas foundation gas volume for free. Necessarily, we need to put in place a gas processing infrastructure to process the gas. In fact, President Kufuor contracted the Trinidadians to start the construction of the gas infrastructure facility. And just before they were about to start, we lost power and they came in government. They terminated that agreement and proceeded subsequently to go and borrow money from China to do it. So let it never be said that it was some vision that was articulated by the NDC that led to the gas infrastructure project. Because the fact of the matter is that if President Kufuor had not negotiated the foundation volume gas, which only was exhausted last year, that facility would never have been built.
Very well.
What did they do when they had the opportunity to develop the ENI show? You want to go there? You want to go there? Again, is it not laughable? Please, is it not laughable that the NDC will turn around and say that some of the existing companies that are benefiting from agenda one district, one faction is problematic for them? Yet these same people turn around and say that Akufo-Addo is not supporting Ghanaian industry for companies to collapse. How does these two sentences exist in the same milieu?
We have to
look. The policy is very clear.
Very well. We have to end it on
very clear policy. It was never the intention of government to set up state-owned enterprises, because we've been there before, and all those enterprises were sold by the NDC predecessor government.
Let's leave it here. Thank you so much for speaking to us. That's Honorable Andre Egyapa Mercer. If I had a few more questions for him, unfortunately, time will not let us. He's member